Nation, it is Scagz here, and I am back for another Doom review. No captain today. I got my buddy JPlay. You might know him from the cigar reviews. What's going on, bro?
Hello, hello.
And we are going to be reviewing a new show on Paramount Plus, and that is Halo the series. So, if you don't know, you might not know, but I'm a big Halo nerd. So is JPlay. We go way back to the days of Halo 2 online, even Halo 1, Halo CE. I mean, I don't know, Jerry, how many hours of Halo 2 did we play back in the day?
Hours? How many
Or
months?
years?
Years. I would say years.
We invested a lot of time. It's like one of the all-time great video game franchises, stories. I've read a lot of the books. This show has been a long time coming. Or just the live action Halo TV or movie. I remember back then when we were kids, there was Neil Blomkamp who was working. He kind of was like charged with making the Halo movie. It fell through, and then he ended up making District 9, I think it was called, right? So now, this is like 10 years later. 12 maybe, right? And Paramount Plus has picked up Halo, and they've made a series. And it's interesting, to say the least. So episode 1 is called Contact. And it begins on a planet called Madrigal, which, if you're a big Halo nerd, Madrigal has been mentioned in some of the lore before, never in the games. And that's where we begin our story. So let's start with you, Jerry. What are your initial reactions? What did you think right from the get-go?
Oh, all right. So like you mentioned, Neil Blomkamp 12 years ago was supposed to make a movie and then a show. Then he got dropped. The first thing I could think of, but okay, well, I mean, we'll get to that, to the CGI stuff.
Yeah.
But it starts off with, the UNSC are these like scary things, and like the Spartans are demons and enemies of the people and this and that. It's like, if you never read the books and you only played games, you're like, what the hell are these people talking about? Like, I was always the hero of the game and this and that. But like you said, like there's a whole expanded lore from the books and stuff, and like the regular people didn't trust the UNSC. Kind of similar to today. Some people don't trust the government. So
it's true. It's true. If you read the Halo expanded lore, there was a separatist, insurrectionist, I guess you could say, movement throughout the galaxy way before the Covenant Human War took place. So I guess it starts off like these people on Madrigal are kind of separatists that don't like the UNSC. So I did think the opening scene was actually kind of cool because it was setting up like kind of like a lore, a ominous presence of the Spartans. You know, these legendary people that come and just like fuck shit up. And then it's only a few minutes before shit goes sideways in this episode, right?
So
that's go for
it. The Covenant intro. I was like, you know what? That was perfect. Like so obviously spoilers and everything. When the girl's running away and they're like, oh no, it's just UNSC. We're gonna go see a ship, and then bam, vaporized by a plasma rifle. I was like, okay. This is okay. Like the Covenant coming through and just ripping people apart is fine with me. But then what I soon noticed, and this is what I was trying to lead into with the District 9, the CGI, man. You 12 years and you couldn't do better than this? Like, did you have to do CG? Like maybe you could have did like puppet / CG kind of nonsense. But if you go, I even watched the trailer for District 9 just to see like what it looked like back then. And I was like, this is garbage CGI for the elites. They could have made them look so much better. They ended up, you know what they look like to me? If you ever played Mass Effect, like those like turtle like guys, I forgot what they were called. I should have got their name. But it's like they used that model instead of the elite, because we all know the elites and what they look like and everything.
Right, of course, yeah.
These guys look like a mix of brutes and elites almost. Like they weren't elites.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely didn't look like elites. They definitely relied too much on CGI. And it wasn't great CGI either. I'd say if you could have just like copy and pasted elites from the games from the Xbox Series X, and it would have looked way better than the show did.
100%,
so just to be clear, it is not Neil Blomkamp who directed this. It is the creators are Stephen Kane and Kyle Killen. And it stars obviously Pablo Schreiber as a Master Chief. Yaren Ha as the insurrectionist girl who ends up on this like journey. What's her name? She's Kwan Ha. That's interesting. Her last name in the show is actually her last name in real life. And Natasha McElhone as Catherine Halsey. And there's some other actors, some other characters we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, man, the right from the get-go, I was immediately disappointed as soon as the elites show up. It was kind of cool how they were just blasting people at the onset. And I thought it would have been dope if they kind of like left them a little bit mysterious maybe and didn't show them right off the bat.
What they do, like a grump.
They do, and it's like obviously they're CGI. It's bad CGI. One of the things I thought was a little bit ridiculous is that the Madrigal, insurrectionists are using AK-47s. This is 530 years in the future, and AK-47. I mean, they're a reliable gun. They're a great gun, one of the best guns ever made. But I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up 530 years from now. Another thing is obviously the Chevy Tahoe in the background.
Yeah, it was
the trailer, right? I don't think a Chevy Tahoe will be able to operate 530 years from now. Let alone how the hell did a Chevy Tahoe get from Earth to Madrigal, which is God knows where else in the universe. Yeah, man. I mean, so a little bit weak to start off. It picks up.
I did like but saying with that, I did like that they mentioned like the leak. You could see he said demon, like so they kept with like the chief is the demon to the Covenant. So like early on, they don't know who he is. He's just like a ghost, and like he's a story that he's like comes through and murders everybody. So it was good that like they recognized who he was.
Yeah.
And just one last piece. Are you ready to move on from Madrigal? I got like two more pieces.
All right, well, real quick. I say after the elites come in, the chief and his team of Spartans come in.
Right.
They look.
I think it was too easy. I think it was too easy for them.
A little bit too easy. Yeah. And it was quick, obviously. But I mean, I was expecting them to bring the chief into the show quickly. The show is about him. Their armor looks good. It's practical effects. At least the chief's armor looks perfect. It looks the classic Halo 2, 3 armor. It's the way he should look. So at least they got that right. But go ahead. What's your next one?
The team, staying with the armor, like the team, they all had bits and pieces of armor that we have seen throughout the years. Like
through the games.
Who had the sniper had the recon helmet,
right?
And I forgot what it's called, but the one that like the other big dude, he's got the
EOD, I think, something EOD, like that. Maybe. Yeah. Little Easter eggs, callbacks to the games for people like us. Yeah.
I liked the shield noises, so they kept the game shield noises when John gets his shield raised.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Drained out, and then he like comes up. But my biggest thing was the chain gun. How come when John picks up the chain gun and uses it, he blasts the elites away? But when the other guys are on the warthogs, if they want to call it warthogs, they're just like pew, pew, they're little pea shooters. It's the same gun. He didn't bring that gun. It's the same gun they were using.
Right, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Like the human had no effect, but when the Spartan picks it up and holds it, it's stronger somehow. So I was like, what the fuck is that? Like that's just weak.
Yeah, definitely. There were a lot of little weak things with the weapons. Like I said before, the AK-47s, 530 years in the future. In that whole battle scene, there was a part where one of the Spartans grabs a plasma pistol and blasts one of the elites with it, and it's clearly a cardboard cutout of a plasma pistol. They didn't even bother to CGI any design or anything onto it, which I was thinking, didn't they make like Nerf guns that are literally
you bought Halo? Me one.
Yeah, years ago. I don't know if they were they made some Nerf ones, but they also made ones that just light up and make sounds and noises. Those look better than what they used for the plasma pistol. In that, and it's a practical effect. I mean, man, they could have bought one from Nerf and just used it in the show. So that was a little bit lazy.
The UNSC weapons look legit though. Like the battle rifle looked good, the assault rifle, the sniper. That all stuck to like what the game guns are supposed to look like.
They did. There was a part where the Master Chief threw his assault rifle onto the ground, and it looks like the classic MA5B assault rifle, whatever it is, but it looks CGI'd. Even the way it hit the ground, the dust looks CGI'd. They relied very heavily on CGI, not practical effects. So right off the bat, that was a negative. The story progresses and they follow the Spartans. They kill all the elites there. They move into the area and they find a cave that the elites were kind of excavating. And this is where we realize like seems to be a standalone, separate story. I don't think that's tied into the established canon of Halo, the Halo lore, right? The Chief goes in there with the Spartans and they find what looks to be some sort of Forerunner object. The Master Chief touches it. He has flashbacks, possibly to his past when he was a child. That's an interesting storyline for them to go into, I'll say, right? Because spoiler warning, if you don't know, the Chief was abducted as a child and replaced with a clone from his parents, and then the Chief was put into the Spartan program. He becomes a Spartan, becomes a leader of the Spartans, etc. So that's interesting for them to explore. I don't have much confidence in them doing it correctly.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, not just Chief, all the Spartans, like the originals, they were all kidnapped.
Yeah.
And they left the clone, and then the clone dies in 2 days. So this way they don't have to look for these kids. I saw the flashbacks. The first thing I thought, like when he touched it, I was like, oh shit, they're at least gonna keep John as like the reclaimer. So like this way they can start running him through like the Forerunner technology.
Right. That was a reclaimer symbol that came out of the Forerunner thing. Yes.
So like they can keep it that way. Other than that, I didn't have too much to go with when he touched it. I was like, obviously they're going to explore it, and later on they do get a little bit more into it. But then they cut away to Halsey. So I'm like, well, first Reach, and then obviously Halsey. And the first thing I'm thinking is like, Halsey is the mother of the Spartan program, but she looks younger than what the Spartans are.
Well, I'm like,
what's going on?
I think this is the setting, or this is 2552. Which is when the brunt of the Halo Covenant War actually happens in 52 and 53. So she should be older by this point. So they did cast maybe she just younger Halsey. Again, this is a little bit different. Yeah, I noticed that Halsey looks younger.
That was the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah. When we're back here on Reach, I don't know what's going on. It's like they're trying. So it's Dr. Halsey and Parangoski. I don't know if you read the books, Jerry. Did you
not her. I don't know.
So Parangoski,
I know everyone else.
So Parangoski is not in the games really at all, but she is a major fixture and character in the books, which I thought was interesting that they decided to adapt her for the show. She's almost like a Black Ops CIA Office of Naval Intelligence in the background person who's pulling the strings on all these like special ops things that go on, but between the war and weak acting by Shabana Amzi. Right. This is Admiral Margaret Parangoski. She's supposed to be one of the most intimidating, badass people in the Halo lore. She seemed like, she was annoyed, but I don't know. It just wasn't
Halsey dismissed her. Right?
Yeah. Maybe it's not the actor's fault. Maybe that's just the way they wrote this story, but I was not impressed by the depiction of Parangoski in this. Halsey was okay. I am Halsey has appeared in the games, so I am kind of used to Halsey from the games. And obviously Cortana is a depiction of, is like almost a clone of,
so I didn't get that. Like, obviously when they look into the room, I'm like, oh, what's going to be in there? Maybe they won't show us, and then they show you in 2 seconds anyway. Like you see the body in there, and she told her you can't do what you want to do, and to us it's leading into Cortana being developed, but Cortana's an AI. That's a clone. Like, what's happening here? Like, so what is the clone going to be hooked up to a system?
I don't know. Right. That is interesting. I don't think we've gotten, at least nothing that I've read, like much of a backstory on how the game Cortana was actually created or how AIs are created. This is a fucking fictional story after all. But it seems like, but I'm saying it seems like the show is going to go in the direction of the AI is a human clone that they somehow digitize, or like they're kind of plugged into a matrix.
Brain out or
maybe
something,
right? Maybe it's some sort of weird experiment where they take an actual living person and like put them into a computer form.
Right. He's gonna get Cortana. There's no way he's not gonna get Cortana. I mean, even in like the intro, you see like the little Cortana orb in the back of his head light up. So that's what they started going to with Infinite.
So yeah,
at first I was like maybe Spartan 2s, but then I was like, it has to be Cortana in the pod. But
yeah, so the Chief, he goes back after this, and he basically saves the girl Quan Ha, and he decides to bring her back, and he's given the order essentially to whack her, right? Because this is the UNSC and this is the way they operate. They don't want any.
But before you even get into that, Miranda Keys.
Yeah, I was getting into that. Yeah, I was getting into that. So on the way back, while the chief is on his way back, we meet Miranda Keys. Yeah. It's a little bit early in the story to be meeting Miranda Keys. Number one, she's usually a character, at least from the game that came in Halo 2 after, spoiler warning, her father's death, Captain Jacob Keys. They make her out to be, I guess maybe because she's young at this point, she's not like a seasoned commander. They make her out to be like, soft and gullible. I'm the most disappointed in the portrayal of Captain Jacob Keys.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not going to say it's woke or anything like that. The fact that they casted a guy who looks like Sergeant Johnson as Captain Keys makes absolutely no sense. That's what I thought too, right? And but you have to know when you make this show that Halo fans are watching this. I don't understand why they decided, if you want to make Captain Keys a black guy, I don't care, that's fine. But why did you cast a guy who looks exactly like Johnson? You've done a disservice now to Johnson. I don't know if he's even going to be in the show or not. Maybe he will. He wasn't in this first episode, but he is one of the most legendary, one of my favorite characters from the entire Halo.
One of the most badass characters.
He is. And maybe if he does come in the story, now you're going to have two guys who look exactly the same playing similar commander style roles in the UNSC military. So I don't know what they were thinking there. That's a little bizarre. Unless maybe they're trying to, maybe they're not going to have Johnson in the show, and they're almost sort of merging the two characters.
Well, there's
the same character.
There's in the trailer. There's another famous black actor who he was in the trailers and stuff. I don't know if he's going to be playing. I don't know his name, but I know I've seen him in a ton of movies. And
could be Bokeem Woodbine. There's Bokeem Woodbine, but I think he's an insurrectionist. I think. Like in the show, I think. Yes, I know exactly. His name is Bokeem Woodbine. I don't think he's going to be Johnson, though.
You don't think? Okay.
No, I don't think so. We'll see as the episodes come along. I just thought that was bizarre. No. Yeah.
I mean, if he were to be Johnson, I'll be okay with that too, because he has like that attitude in other roles that he's played. So I'll take that. And then, like you say, Commander Keys, man. To me, he was like a bitch. Like he was just getting shooted on by the Admiral. That it's like, this is not the Keys that we like knew. Like Keys always kind of did what he thought was right.
Yeah, it was his own man.
In Halo 1, yes, he screwed up, but then he like rectified as best he could when he was becoming a flood. And we'll see what the hell we get to that. But so how about the Prophet?
Okay, so now let's shift right now. This is bizarre, right? I thought High Charity looked kind of a little bit weird in the first shot. It looked like a mushroom almost, and not very good. But the second shot, it looked pretty good. Where they got a little bit closer.
When you see the city in it.
Now, this is Mercy, the Prophet Mercy, right? I thought this CGI was very well done. I thought Mercy looked phenomenal. And I was wondering, I'm like, did they run out of budget to do the elites? They spent it all on Mercy. And here's an interesting thing for the story going forward. There's a human, kind of with the Covenant.
Who the hell is this?
I don't know.
I wrote down that she's Dark Khaleesi because I'm like, who the fuck?
Kind of, yeah.
Who is this woman?
I don't know. This has never happened before in Halo that a human is like kind of on the side of the prophets. There have been humans that aligned with splinters of the Covenant afterwards in some of the books, but I don't know what this is. It seems like maybe Mercy is trying to learn more about humans by having a human under his care. It's weird. I almost feel like it's a bit of a cop-out that maybe the directors or the writers think we can't like resonate with just CGI aliens as characters. So like they have to horseshoe a human in there to be more, to be more, I don't know, just for the audience.
Just more connection.
Yeah, which I don't agree with. We're watching this to watch Halo, and the CGI was done well. So that's weird. I don't know where that's going. We'll see. I don't know. You have any thoughts on that?
Maybe because obviously she found out about John touching the artifact or whatever, and that it reacted. Maybe they're going to try to make her like a Forerunner descendant kind of deal. Like they don't want to make Forerunners look like, they want to make them just be human and whatnot.
Maybe
like they're not human, but they're close to it. Who knows? I mean, that's just something. Or she was a kidnapped child that the Covenant somehow got, and the Prophet was just like, I'm gonna have a pet. And like he was saying, like maybe one day you'll explain to me what the human like readings are, so I can better like know.
Right, that's what he said. So, Right, something like that. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mercy's trying to understand humans a little bit better, so that in order to fight the war against them.
Right.
That was a quick scene, obviously.
Yeah.
I thought that the depiction of Reach was pretty well done again in the CGI
Yeah.
side. Like it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty realistic from the aerial views of the city and whatnot. That was pretty cool. Inside the base, the Marines, the other Spartans, I don't know. They kind of look like Power Rangers sometimes.
Yeah,
That's a vibe I got, that I was watching Power Rangers, not a Halo.
They were very clunky. Even with John's like fight scene early on,
yeah,
back
clunky. It's a good way to put it.
The jumping and the like, you didn't need all that. Like, just have it practical. Like, you didn't need to add like CGI to him jumping. Like, you could have just had him fall from something.
Right.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. Hopefully it kind of like fixes itself in a way.
Yeah.
Where
I agree.
Like you'll get used to it and be like, all right, whatever. Yeah, that's a little corny, but I'm here for the story.
Yeah, we'll see. So, yeah, the chief he decides to protect Quan Ha, and they go back to Reach. And during the trip, the UNSC tries to basically suffocate Quan Ha to death because they want to get rid of her. The chief the chief, I guess, because it's interesting because this is going to be obviously a major plot point where this Forerunner artifact has triggered something in him and his memories and whatnot, and making him think differently. So he decides to override the whole thing and save her. They get back to Reach, or they're on their way back to Reach, and this is what this really pissed me off. This is episode 1 of season 1, and they immediately took the Chief's helmet off. And just,
that's been terrible.
If you haven't played Halo, the Chief never takes his helmet off. Really, we've never seen his face in the games, only the back of his head. It's part of the whole experience. I was expecting the show to take off his helmet at some point,
eventually,
right? And maybe it'd be some sort of big reveal. But man, it felt like they just, we got to take it off because it's season 1, episode 1, and we got to do it.
And it wasn't even like good under there. It didn't fit. So I mean, I know you're going to get to it. It's just in the books they describe what he looks like when he takes his helmet off. He doesn't have hair. He's like a bald, redheaded child. Right. Like he's supposed to be like super pale because he never takes the armor off.
Yeah.
So it's like you're following the books, but you're not following the books. You're just doing it to have a face.
It's like, hey, we took off the Chief's helmet to show you his face because we got a really good looking actor, Pablo Schreiber. Right. Pablo Schreiber, here he is, folks.
Hey, here he is. All right, now he doesn't have to put his helmet back on. That's it.
It didn't do me any justice as a Halo fan. I thought it was rushed, cheap, almost like a cop out, a sellout of.
There was
of something that's like sacred in Halo. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. There was a quote. I was talking to my buddy Joey, and I told him we were doing the review. I was like, "You have anything for it?" He said, "Yeah." He sent me a link to something on Instagram that one of the executives was like, "We need to show John's face because we're pulling from the books and not the game, and we need to show his emotions." And then Joey made a great point. He's like, "Have you watched The Mandalorian? Like, the guy never took his goddamn helmet off. He like obviously at the end of the first season he does, and we know who he is. We know it's Pablo. That was
Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal.
This is Pablo. Pedro Pascal, who's a great, fantastic actor. Never takes the helmet off, and you get his feelings and his reaction. You don't need to have the helmet off. So I think it was just a cop out that they did that.
I think sometimes directors they think that people can't resonate with like a suit of armor or something. But let me tell you, there's an example of that happening within the Halo universe itself. If you played Halo Infinite, one of the best parts of the story I felt was they magically captured the Chief's emotions and little tiny details in this most recent game, Halo Infinite, with the armor 100%. On through like clenched 100%. Fists and like, slouched over and just stairs, like you could feel anger and remorse and hatred through a suit of armor. And that's in a video game. That's even more CGI, I guess, than this, which had practical effects. So I thought that was well done in Halo Infinite. You could have done similar here, but again, this is different people in charge, etc.
They're paying the actor, so they're going to show us.
Yeah, I guess so. Which I expected them to. I expect them to.
Eventually,
just too soon.
Eventually.
Maybe maybe they could have did it where he's in some fight and his helmet gets blown off, and that's how you see it. Build it into the story a little bit more. So the Chief gets back to Reach, and they put the whole UNSC on alert to try and stop him, I guess, because they think he's gone rogue, which he kind of has a little bit because he's disobeyed a direct order. they land the Pelican, and then the Chief touches the Forerunner artifact again, and it gives the Pelican power, and then they just
EMPs everything else.
EMPs everything, and they fly away. Yeah. And that's, I guess, the end of the episode. So I don't know.
You think there's one quick thing with that before they get away, right? Because Halsey tells the other Spartans, like, if they try to hurt John, and they're like, nah, they're not going to hurt John.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
They were set, but did you see that they were setting up at the door when they were putting the charges on? And to me, it looked like they were getting ready to be like, no, you guys get out of the way. You're not blowing this up. Like, they were ready to fight.
It looked like the other Spartans were targeting. We're targeting the Marines that were going to break in there. Another thing I'm a little bit disappointed about too is they went with Silver Team. I don't know who these Spartans are. They are not the Master Chief's Blue Team of Linda, Will, Fred. I don't know why they decided to go against who the Chief has always kind of served with the same team, with the same like clique of Spartans.
He said a name, the girl's name. God damn it! Why can't I remember it now? I just watched
the Spartan girl.
Yeah. Not Kelly.
I'm looking at the list here. There's Riz 28. No. She's female. And then there is Soren 66. And
no, but he said one of their names. He said the name.
Could be Riz, maybe. I don't remember. No. I felt I'll say another criticism of this. It was hard to understand when the Spartans were talking. They didn't do a very good job of making their communications clear.
Yeah, which you think would be excellent because they're in a helmet.
Yeah, you should have been hearing it as if you were hearing it through their comm system. Right. Instead, it was like we were hearing it from the outside, as if we were standing like next to them. Right, yeah. And that I don't know why they did that. It was very hard to hear what the Spartans were saying to each other.
Yeah, it's stupid, but I guess they'll again. Hopefully, it fixes itself. But I keep trying to think of what the name is because if you remember, there was another game. It was a fighting game, and they introduced a Spartan.
Dead or Alive,
like and there was like a lost Spartan. I think that's the same name as the Spartan that they used.
Maybe it's a good point.
Because I was like, I know I've heard that name. It's not Kelly because Kelly, we know Kelly. He definitely says her name in the show.
It's let's see, Spartan 458 Nicole. It's from Dead or Alive 4.
No, that's not the name. But anyway, I feel like one of the Spartans we've heard her name before.
So yeah, that's basically the end of the story. The Chief repowers the Pelican and they fly off into the distance. And we will get episode 2. So let's give it a rating. What do you think? What do you want to give it? 1 out of 10?
So disappointing that I have to go low.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. You don't want to go low because it's Halo.
It's been so hyped over the last 10, 12 years to get this. Go to 6.
Wow.
Because I'm gonna go to 6 because a 5 to me is a show I'll watch again, and because it's Halo, because it did some things right, I want to give it another chance. Like I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna struggle, but I'm gonna watch it. See what comes of this story, this iteration, this version of something that we've known and loved for so many years. So the nostalgia points
carrying it, sure.
Right. Take Halo away from it. Make it like this was Battlestar, whatever, this and that. It has nothing to do with Halo. There's no lore. It was just random aliens and this and that. It was a 3.5 as the show.
So funny you say that because that's exactly what I'm going to give it, a 3.
There you go.
I know exactly what you're saying. I agree with you. I am going to give it another shot because it is Halo and I love Halo. I'll probably watch the entire thing, even if it's terrible, just to see how it goes. But I was disappointed. My hopes were really high for this. The first trailer kind of made me a little bit apprehensive. I thought the second trailer was much better.
So much.
But I mean, the CGI was terrible. A couple of the changes to the story are just ridiculous and just dumb. I don't know where they're trying to go with it. I don't know if this is going to get a second season just by the first episode.
No, probably not.
I don't know if we're going to get a second Doomed review, right? Because if it's well, let's go here. I'm giving it a 3. If the next episode is just as bad, I'm not wasting my time doing another Doom review. So that's how you guys will know if it's good or not.
I agree. If it gets better, if it gets better, we'll do a recap. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea. Well, yeah, maybe we'll discuss how it went. As a longtime Halo fan, it's disappointing. And then on top of the fact that I waited 12 years for a live action show or something that's always been rumored, always been in the works. And the first episode is a major letdown. It just looks like lazy, like Power Rangers. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking. It's just ridiculous. Also, just another thing going forwards, like the Chief is supposed to be introduced to Forerunners and Forerunner tech at the Halo for the first time, the Halo rink. Yeah. And they immediately, they tried to horseshoe that in immediately with that thing, which just felt like rushed. Maybe the show will follow the Halo story because they are on Reach, right? So maybe we're going to get an adaptation of the Fall of Reach, maybe here in season 1, right? That'll play into the whole thing. And then maybe season 2, he will start
off on the ring, or
right? To Alpha Halo or whatever it is, the first ring that they get to. They could have, I don't know. It just didn't feel good. I'm not after watching this first episode, I'm not hopeful with the rest of the story or the CGI. Maybe they will improve. Maybe they spent most of the budget on later episodes. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm going to watch definitely and follow it through. So again, if there is no second episode review, that's because it sucked. And maybe we'll come back to it once the series is concluded.
Maybe.
Anything else you want to add?
Hopefully it gets better. Infinite was fantastic. So if you're a fan of Halo, beat it. I finally beat it. I beat it 2 days ago on purpose to make sure I beat it before the show came out, just so I was all Halo ready to go.
Yeah.
And man, the game blows the show out of the water. It's not even a comparison.
Yeah. Quick note on Halo Infinite. Yeah, I thought Halo Infinite, the story mode was great. The open world, it felt like Halo 2.
Yeah.
It felt like you were playing Halo 2, Halo 3. It just felt right. The grapple shot and all those they finally did equipment and all that stuff right in Halo. So I felt like a couple of things in the story were lacking in Halo Infinite. It felt like a little bit lonely almost, like there was not that much depth. And I guess it was supposed to feel that way. You were marooned and everybody already was dead or captured. Yeah. But I thought it was good. If you want to real quick give a Halo Infinite out of 10, what do you think?
9.5.
Yeah, I'd say
I don't want to give it a straight 10 because there's always a little room to add in something, whatever.
Definitely worth a play. If you're a Halo fan and you want to play Halo Infinite, 100% worth a play.
And story-wise, it's setting up something fantastic. To me, it looks like, with Atriox and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, there's going to be DLC. I think a lot of DLC for Halo Infinite. One thing, I will give it a 9. The story. One thing I will give it a major negative over is the multiplayer is exactly the same as it was at launch, and it wasn't much at launch. It was very simple and nothing going on. They completely dropped the ball there. I know they've dropped the ball just because we have no desire to play.
We're not playing.
Right? It hasn't hooked us the way previous Halos or Call of Duty or whatever has hooked me in the beginning, and I'll be playing. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, but I enjoyed the story. It's good, and I am excited for part 2, which might be called The Endless. We'll see.
Okay,
that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So
they're unlocking them.
That is our Doom review, folks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you like cigars, don't forget to check out Jerry's Weller by Cohiba.
There's also a second episode that somebody already has recorded that you got to put out.
Yeah, I got to put it together. Yeah. That's our review. Hey, man. Yeah, I will put it together. It's very time consuming to put these videos together. I almost feel regretful how much time I put into making the intro for this. I put more effort into the intro for this, it seems, than they did for the actual show Halo itself. So that's it, everybody. Yeah, maybe. Later.
Take care.